This is epic what's happening. And Roger Stone joins us at the bottom of the hour, stonezone.com. The mainstream media now really hates him and, basically says he's the secret campaign head. No, he's one of the advisors, one of the friends of Trump, but Trump is his own advisor. Epic history happening now. So my questions are, what happened behind the scenes? Kasich supposedly about to drop out. Where does this go? What's the real numbers on Hillary? Will they still try to steal it in Cleveland? Do they have tricks up their sleeves? Does a bear live in the woods? And what will happen in the general election? Well, Trump's going to go after and call for her indictment. He's going to take the gloves off. So the question is, will they try to assassinate him? Will they try to co-opt him? Will they try to steal the election? Will they start a war, implode the dollar? I mean, the elite are scared. But now you got the Chinese government saying, okay, let's try to reconcile. Cameron says, okay, let's be nice to Trump. I'm going to apologize. The Republican Party says maybe we should go ahead and go with Trump. This is an epic historical moment. And the question is, he's known him 40 years. My first question, I hope this isn't the art of the deal, though, where Trump's just bringing them to heel, crushing the establishment, riding a wave of populism, and then he makes a deal with them, I guess, to make him emperor or something. Who knows? But the word is he's a patriot and does want to make America great again. I think we've heard that before. So Roger Stone, I tell you, this is an epic moment. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be here, Alex. It just shows you how quickly politics can change. My original plan, as you know, was to come on this show and reveal Ted Cruz's plan to steal the Republican convention. I actually have a draft of the rules change that they were circulating. I had a list of billionaires they were soliciting for a bribe fund. And I was prepared to lay this out for the American people right here on Infowars.com. Overnight, things have changed. Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party. It is, for me, a great day because it's the culmination of a quest that I began in 1988 when I realized that Trump had the size and the stature and the toughness to be president, and that he wasn't beholden to the two-party duopoly and the political establishment that's run this country into the gutter. The Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama policies, which are identical, that have brought us to the brink of disaster. I don't think you have to have any concerns about Donald Trump. No one owns him. He is not a globalist. That foreign policy speech just days ago needs to be reread because that is the blueprint for Trumpism, a new, proud supporter of American sovereignty, someone who wants to restore both American economic policy and military strength, or I should say economic strength and military strength. That is the real Donald Trump. You don't have to worry about him betraying us. He knows exactly who opposes us: the Chinese government, the Mexican government, the Pope. The list goes on and on. A man is defined by his enemies. Now, I did an interview on BBC this morning. Alex, it was brutal, just brutal. The world establishment is apoplectic about the rise of Trump. But this is a force of nature. He is not going to be stopped. He is Hillary Clinton's worst nightmare.
Let's talk about where you expect this to go. A, will they still try to steal it, or has that whole hoax of claiming there's no popular vote, the party can do whatever it wants, has that now imploded?
I think it has imploded with the folding of John Kasich today, on top of the fact that Ted Cruz threw in the towel last night. Opposition now in the Republican Party, I think, evaporates. Alex, I have to pay some tribute to you because I think you played an important role in informing Liberty voters and those who were prepared to take on the world new order that Ted Cruz was not the real deal, that he was a Bush family retainer posing as a constitutionalist, but that Donald Trump is the only candidate not beholden to the special interests, not beholden to the political establishment, and a real nationalist. For the first time, we have an American nationalist. He's got the resoluteness, the toughness to take on Hillary. He's not going to have the kind of arrangement that Jeb had with him. You see, there was an arrangement. Jeb wouldn't bring up her worst sins. She wouldn't bring up Jeb's worst sins. Jeb would lose gracefully and then go on to make millions of dollars out of his association with the Clinton administration. Those kind of backroom deals are off. Donald Trump is very definitely the real deal. But I'll tell you my most immediate concern. A group called USA Priorities, or I think it's Priorities USA, announced that they will unleash a $20 million media blitz immediately after the California primary, June 7th. This is right out of the Clinton playbook. It's precisely what the Clintons did to Bob Dole, a former boss of mine, in 1996, where they go to a period in which the Republican candidate has no funding. They use their funding from George Soros and other criminals to define him. So this is our immediate goal. Now, Trump's opposition to super PACs is well known. There is a group out there that I need to alert you about. It's called Great America PAC. It's a scam, a fraud. If people get solicitations, they should know that this group claimed that they spent $1 million in Wisconsin to support Trump on television. They spent zero. Headed by Ed Rollins, a longtime critic of Donald Trump, and Jesse Benton, the guy who ran Rand Paul's campaign into the ditch. This is not in any way an authorized...
Oh, wow, Jesse Benton's involved, running around acting like he's with Trump? Wow, I saw articles where they had the Trump lawyers telling that group to stop last week, and then basically Trump people saying, you're the only real group out there. That's not even a PAC, you're just promoting free speech.
Well, look, there has to be some mechanism to fill this gap. I'm aware of the fact that Donald Trump is, I think, constitutionally and philosophically opposed to super PACs, but that's because of the corrosive influence of lobbyists and special interest money that floods those PACs. On the other hand, Trump cannot be naked in this period while the Clintons move quickly to try to define him.
Well, I've got to stop you. Let's just go back and look. And this isn't bragging about Roger Stone. We're going to skip this break because we have limited time with him. Wish you could stay longer, sir. This is so important what we're talking about here. But people understand, you foresaw when you first came on 10 months ago, they'd try to steal it with Richard Reeves. You came to visit me here in Austin, so gracious, to come here and warn me. You laid it all out. Your organization, my audience, and others at the core, but let's really give you credit, but the audience deserves most of it, took action, got involved. The media said, stop claiming we'll steal it. You're conspiracy theorists. Stop claiming we won't honor the voters. Then they went from saying that to going, yeah, we're going to steal it. We're allowed to. They tried to sell that. We forced them to sell it early. It blew up in their face because you were exposing it early. They were forced to try to sell it. It blew up, I think brought down Cruz, Kasich, and the Republican establishment and accelerated, catapulting him as the true populist. And my reporters, again, I don't know why we're in the zeitgeist, all over the country caught the Mexican flags, the beating people up, the George Soros-funded people. That has accelerated Trump. I just hope the Trump campaign knows, because I'm proud of my crew. It's not me. My crew, I'm telling you, is good for 2 or 3 points he's got nationally. InfoWars is devastating the Trumpian opposition.
Well, in fact, Donald Trump himself told me that he has seen so many of your supporters and listeners at his rallies. He loves the Hillary for Prison T-shirts, and he knows exactly where they came from. So, Alex, I'm certain that he is grateful for your support and the support of other patriots who have stepped forward here to try to clear the mainstream media myths about Donald.
I was about to say, just to interrupt again, it's not about even credit. I want listeners and viewers to know you're having an effect. Stone's having an effect. I am, our crew. This is history. We're in an epic fight, and we are beating the living you-know-what out of the enemy. I'm sorry, Roger. You got the floor. Tell us what's coming next, how we defeat Clintons, how we keep this guy alive, and what we do in Cleveland.
Well, look, we all know what Hillary Clinton's greatest single vulnerability is. She claims to be an advocate for women. In fact, her husband is a serial sexual predator. Whenever you try to say that on CNN, they literally unplug your microphone. They did it to my friend Steve Malzberg. They did it to my friend Kurt Schlichter. They've done it to me. Don Lemon is delusional. He's in denial about the facts. So I have no doubt that the women themselves, brave women, Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones, and Sally Miller, and others will come forward and tell in detail of their abuse at the hands of Bill Clinton and their abuse at the hands of Hillary. So we can get rid of the myth of Hillary as women's advocates.
This won't be a Republican establishment where they wear gloves and it's already predetermined like a Don King boxing match. This is going to be Donald Trump savaging that witch.
He has no choice. Look, we both remember when John McCain traveled up and down the country talking about what a great U.S. Senator and a great American Barack Obama was. That is not the way to win this fight. And Donald Trump is above all a scrapper. He's a fighter. He's a brawler. He knows how tough this will be. He knows that organizationally we're behind the 8 ball, but we're in catch-up mode. This is going to be the most exciting political contest in my lifetime. I haven't been this excited since Ronald Reagan defeated the Republican establishment, went on to become president. It's sad that his administration was co-opted by George Herbert Walker Bush, who essentially ended Reaganism with his tax increases and his international trade deals. If you noticed last night in his remarks, he focused right on NAFTA and the way it has sucked the jobs out of America. He knows who the enemy is. He will give no quarter. Get ready for President Donald J. Trump.
Well, I mean, I know Trump's very, very private, and you've been his buddy when he's divorced. You're his wingman. That's well known, one of his best friends out there. But I've talked to a lot of prominent people, even before Trump was running, and then when he was, people would say, what do you think of Trump? And I'd say, well, yeah, I mean, I know he's a good guy overall in some things, and he kind of a, just a businessman. And they'd say, no, no, he knows about what's going on. He's a patriot. And later I found out for 30 years he gave money to try to stop NAFTA and GATT and other globalist operations. This has been a big critic of it. But now I've talked to other prominent people like Dr. Corsi that's known him 40 years in business and others, and they say, no, no, no. Trump knows everything we know and more. He's basically a sleeper cell for patriots. He knows all about the New World Order, Federal Reserve, everything. And since then he's talked some about it. He just puts it in popular terms. Is that accurate, that that's why they're so scared of him, as they know he really is probably beyond Reagan?
Yeah, he's got their number, and they know it. You can't put anything over on Donald Trump. He's both tough and wise. And what they really, I think, fear is his combative nature. Let me address this question of the 2 Trumps, because there's only one Donald Trump. He's a guy who marches to his own drummer. He is a guy who is his own idea man, his own speechwriter. So unlike most of these politicians, Alex, he's not operating off of polls or focus groups or reading some speech written by a 25-year-old. He's his own man, and he has a vision for this country. It's a vision of American strength and American sovereignty. And this is why he scares the bejesus out of the political establishment. I'm looking forward for an epic battle. Yeah, we're playing catch-up ball, no question about it. But we'll get there. He will be fully competitive. Now, Hillary Clinton's going to have $1 billion. And the truth is, Donald Trump has been so busy fending off 16 rivals for the Republican nomination, he has not yet turned to the question of financing the general election. We've got a lot of work to do, and we are behind. But by the end of this convention, we will be battle ready.
Incredible. I don't put it past him. You're the expert, still trying some hanky-panky in California or other areas, and then claiming, oh, we thought he was presumptive, but this happened. But, I mean, I kind of overall agree with you, though. It seems like the resolve of the Republican rhinos and others has totally collapsed. They are so discredited. And people are saying, oh, this hurts the Republican Party. The Democrats are saying that. No, he's brought more people in than Reagan did. And it seems like their upside-down bizarro world is being completely reversed right now. I expect to see surging numbers now for Trump.
Well, first of all, I'd point out that he's already brought the deficit between he and Hillary Clinton down to single digits. And her unfavorable is 55, his is 65. That's a 10-point gap. Now, in all honesty, we can refire her unfavorable ratings just by taking on her record. I like a lot of the things that Bernie Sanders says, particularly on trade and war, but frankly, he hasn't gone at her greatest areas of vulnerability. Her abuse of women, her disastrous tenure as Secretary of State, and then, of course, the massive corruption of the Clinton Foundation, which isn't a charitable organization. It's a slush fund for grifters. It's a vehicle for facilitation of multi-million-dollar bribes. I've said it here before, and I'll say it again. Remember, Donald Trump was conned out of giving $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. He thought he was helping children through a charitable foundation. He didn't know it was a fraud. This gives him standing to bring a federal lawsuit for fraud and open up their entire phony deal to the scrutiny of the American people.
All right, Roger Stone, I want to, in the 6-7 minutes we have left, get into some of the other things they're up to. Media Matters, as you know, is openly run by the White House, and they said a bunch of articles yesterday. Fox host, Trump is pivoting into the Alex Jones presidency with his conspiracy theories. Well, I'm glad that, you've got Ted Cruz. It's old news now, but it's an example. His dad attacking Trump, saying he's basically Satan incarnate. And so he just points to a Wayne Madsen report from Infowars.com. It was also in the Inquirer later, looking at some of the CIA possible backgrounds of his father. But then he acts like Trump mugged his father. He was just fighting back when he's being attacked. You know, if Cruz's father says Trump is the devil, then he can say, hey, it's being reported in the news. This guy's got CIA connections possibly. But that just shows how desperate they are. And I think Trump should get more, more, quote, conspiratorial, because we know there's corruption. We know there's stuff going on. I think he should get into Fast and Furious, more about how he'll call for the indictment of Hillary, more about how he'll go after these criminals. I think that's the key.
Well, as you know, Alex, anytime someone goes out there and blurts out the truth, the response of the mainstream media is to try to discredit them with that title, conspiracy theorist. Even though I think it's somewhat extraneous, let's address this. I had an email last night from Judith Very Baker. She's a friend. She's also indisputably was Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend from 1961 to 1963. She knew Rafael Cruz well. She confirms that he was part of Lee Harvey Oswald's crew.
Wow.
So also, if one will simply do a computer analysis of the facial aspects in the photo, which, yes, appeared in the National Enquirer, but was released by the Warren Commission with a current photo of Rafael Cruz, it's a perfect match.
By the way, we know the Bushes, it was later declassified, Herbert Walker was heavily involved quarterbacking the operations in New Orleans. Garrison and others looked at that. And so, of course, he comes out of the Bushes because he's always been there. This all points towards that. Kit Daniels wrote about it. And so that just shows, folks, when you mess with Trump, he takes the gloves off.
Well, he's fearless, and that is the point. So some people say, well, why did he even raise this? You're exactly right, Alex. Rafael Cruz attacked him. Donald Trump, if you attack Trump, get ready to get smashed back in the teeth. That's the way he fights. He's a brawler. So this is not a guy who turns the other cheek. What was it that Ted Cruz called him yesterday? A kook, a philanderer, some glass house stuff there, if you ask me.
Pathological liar.
Pathological liar. Let me get this straight. The guy who claimed that his wife cashed in her retirement at Goldman Sachs to finance his Senate campaign, and it later turns out that none of that happened. In fact, they took $1 million secret sweetheart loan from Goldman Sachs. He's calling Trump a pathological liar.
Absolutely. Let's stop right there. We got a few minutes left. Other key tidbits, Roger Stone, consummate Trump insider. What do we do to help Trump, to help the American people? What's the next shoe to drop? What are you worried about? I mean, first off, what would you call last night? How epic a victory is that? It seems like a total collapse of the establishment. Now they're going to activate the Ford Foundation, Soros, Black Lives Matter, foreign nationals say they're going to burn stuff down and riot. That sounds like a way to get Trump elected. These people are so delusional. Don't they get it? We have decided to finally fight back. The political correctness is over. The mind control is over. The sleeping giant is rising. Is that accurate?
I absolutely think so. So, look, I have no question that the Black Lives Matter folks and the Move On folks will be there in Cleveland. As you know, we were working together to form a massive outdoor march and rally to stop the steal. I'm going to be conferring with all the groups, Citizens for Trump, Bikers for Trump, Women for Trump, Dentists for Trump, this afternoon to figure out how we're going to move forward. We're now thinking of changing that to a unity rally because I can tell you Donald Trump has been actively reaching out to some of his former opponents. They're very productive conversations coming together. I see a united Republican Party. There's a fringe out there, the never Trump people.
I agree, but we should have it as a unity rally, but in reserve in case they try to steal again, and have it be a pro-America unity rally. Absolutely. That's very exciting.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you've already made plans to come to Cleveland, don't cancel your plans.
No, everybody's got to come.
See you there. We've got to be ready for any eventuality.
Oh, look, this is history. I mean, we've got to be there to outnumber the Soros people 10-1, and the police are on the side of free speech, and they hate the commie groups. So we're going to be great. Everybody needs to be there.
Well, unlike the Black Lives Matter and the other far left demonstrators, we've applied for a permit with the city of Cleveland. We're cooperating with the Cleveland Police Department. They have helped map out our march route. They've helped us select our rally location. We stand with those men and women in law enforcement. As you know, Alex, the Black Lives Matter folks, the Move On folks, they don't apply for permits. They just show up. And let's be very clear about what their goal is. It is to provoke violence.
I've been seeing all this opposition coming from Bernie and Hillary supporters and sitting there talking about we're liberal, we're loving, we just want peace, yet they throw eggs at you and punch you in the mouth because they're peaceful and loving. I saw what went down in Southern California. It got to me. I had to come out here and actually talk about what's going on. These people don't want to talk to you. That's the problem. They sit there and say they don't have double standards and that they're not hypocritical. They'll come up to you and just yell and scream.
Nazis, racists, can't get good! Nazis, racists, can't get good!
All right, they just said they were going to be arrested. Got people being triggered.
This represents slavery, colonialism, genocide, oppression, and it's all right to burn that shit.
Burn, baby, burn!
Burn, baby, burn! Burn that colonialism!
Burn, baby, burn! Burn, baby, burn!
Silence takes the side of the aggressor! No hate in our state! 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 No hate in our state!
All right, they're throwing eggs and they're pushing the protesters back at this time. Like a feeding frenzy here.
I tell you, we can defeat evil. And they try to train us that you can't win and only evil has power and there's no such thing as good. That's all a fraud in history. I've studied history. Evil is weak, but it convinces good men and women they have no power. To quote Thomas Jefferson, all that evil men and tyrants need to flourish is that good men do nothing.